bring you Jen Gottlieb. If I said your last name right, I
Yeah.
don't know about saying it wrong. I wanted to bring Jen on today for our first official day in what we can say is lockdown in New Zealand. And I reached out to her a couple of weeks ago because I was really worried or excited or anticipating what this was going to bring up for a lot of New Zealanders when it sunk in what was really happening in this country and what was happening in our city at the moment and really what lockdown meant. And so I reached out to Jen because she is the mindset mastermind coach. Like, she is next level. Like, when I first met Jen, I was like, oh, she's really lovely. Like, she seems really sweet. She's really friendly. And then I actually listened to her on another podcast and I was like, this lady really knows her mindset stuff. Like, that's what made me fall in love with her. And then I got to meet Jen again and hang out with her. And I was like, no, she is absolutely amazing. So Jen was on Broadway. She will spent 14 seasons on TV in America. And now she has her own company, the Super Connector. But what's really cool is her role, amongst many things in the company, is she is chief mindset coach. So I was like, she is perfect for what we need, because the biggest thing we need and the biggest thing that we have right now for the next month when we're in our houses is our minds. And so this can be a huge tool for good or tool for destruction, depending on how we kind of use our mind and how we set our intentions and really choose to bring our mindset to this period. So Jen, obviously being in New York, you're a few weeks ahead of us. You and Chris have been on lockdown in your apartment in New York for a bit longer. So just tell us, what did you guys decide, or what is your daily practice around your mindset? Like, when this can be scary, which is what you've seen over there, what do you guys do? What are some of the tips that you're really doing at the moment?
Thank you so much, first of all, Shelly, for having me on this. It's crazy to think like how cool technology is, that, you know, we can sit here and talk and chat, and I can come to you from New York City and bring some of like what's going on here to people in New Zealand. And I'm just so grateful for technology and that we can do this and that I get to share with your community. Yeah, I'm in New York and we've been on lockdown for, I don't even know how long officially, but Chris and I have been self-quarantining for a couple of weeks now. And this whole thing is scary. It's very scary, and it's creating a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. That's the scariest piece of the entire thing, is the uncertainty, is the not knowing, is the, you know, being inside and being like, what's going to happen? Because that's ultimately like probably human beings' greatest fear is not being certain and not knowing what's going to happen. And so this is like so much uncertainty. And the way that I deal with fear is, you know, a lot of people say, you know, oh, fear is nothing, you know, fear is not an option, and we'll just bust through fear and we'll give fear the finger, and, you know, and I'm not scared of anything. But actually, like, fear is a real thing. It's a real feeling, and it's a real emotion that we feel, and it's okay to feel the fear. So the first thing that I always try to tell myself whenever start to feel guilty for feeling scared, like, come on, Jen, you're not a wuss. You know, like, just stop being scared. Like, and I start to feel like, God, I suck because I'm like feeling this fear. It's okay. Take a deep breath and be like, all right, it's okay to feel this fear. Now, here's the key. What I do is when I feel the fear, I just separate myself from it and I put it right next to me. And I talk to it. And I say, okay, fear, I see you. I hear you. I know you're there. You're here with me. And I imagine that I'm in a car and the fear is in the passenger seat. So be like, hey, fear, I see you. You can sit in the passenger seat, but I am driving the car.
Yeah.
You can sit there, but I am in control of what goes on. You can't even touch the radio. You have no say in where this car goes. You have no say on what's on the radio. You can just sit there and be there, and I acknowledge you. So the fear is there, and strength comes from feeling fear and doing things anyway.
Yeah.
The fear is going to be there. So acknowledge it, talk to it, put it aside. In your mind, visualize putting it in a box and putting it somewhere away, or putting it in the car in the passenger seat, right? Really envision that fear is there, but you're in control. And then the next step, the next thing that I do is I remind myself every single day that I may not have control over what's going on around me. Like, we got no control, okay? You guys over there, you got no control. Us in New York, we've got no control. That's something we have in common. We can't control this shit, okay? No control. But we have control over one thing. We have control over the way that we choose to react to it. So we can choose, we can make the decision to live in a bad world or a good world, because at the end of the day, the world that we live in is the environment that we create for ourselves. So in our own homes, when we're staying home, we get to create and choose the environment that we want to create. So we can choose a shitty environment that's one of fear and victimhood and, oh my God, what am I going to do? And my whole world is coming to an end, and like watching the news all the time and putting all of those scary negative images in our head and choosing to go down that road. We can choose that. Or we can make the choice to say, you know what? I'm only going to put positive thoughts into my mind, and I'm going to choose to be grateful for everything that I can be grateful for in this situation. And I'm going to make the choice to exercise every day, and I'm going to make the choice to do things that make me feel good, so that I can make my environment, the thing that I have control over, a positive one and a good one. And that is the way that we get through things like this.
Totally. So what do you do, like, other than like deciding that? What are the practical steps, like in the morning? Like, I know that you're big at routines and you have your set, like when I fell in love with you on the podcast that you were doing with Sunny Livovitz, you were saying how you do your gratitude journal, like you're doing your 3 things, current things, and then 3 future things. So at a time like this, I suspect that those 3 future things are really key, because they're kind of things that are really building vision and building momentum to where you want to be going. Like, what are some of the practices that you're really putting into place at the moment?
Yeah, 100%. So it's so important to have, even more so now that we're home and we're not going to work, we need to have a routine. And I already had a morning routine, but now I have like a routine on steroids, because I know that if I don't do my routine and I don't do the things that make me feel good, that prep me for the day, I'm done for. I start watching the news, I start getting scared, and then forget about it. So every single morning, like what you just said, I still do, my gratitude list is the number 1 most important thing, because it is absolutely impossible to feel scared and anxious and grateful at the same time. It's impossible. Gratitude conquers all. And there is always something to be grateful for. Even in the worst possible situations ever, there is always something to be grateful for, always. So if you can get into gratitude mode, you are free from fear. You are. If you know how to switch right into it, like, okay, I know why I'm grateful for this moment, the fear goes away immediately. So every morning I do my gratitude list. Like you said, I do too. My first gratitude list are things that I'm grateful for in the moment. And like, even though I feel like the world might be falling apart around me, I am so grateful for technology. You know, like, here's a few things that I'm grateful for: that I could talk to you today, that my team is remote, that I can still communicate with people, that there's video, like Zoom. How cool is this? I'm grateful for my health, my family, my apartment. I'm grateful for, you know, all the little things, anything that you're grateful for. And I just immerse myself in those thoughts of gratitude. Immediately I feel better. And then my second gratitude list is my future gratitude list. Now, this is being grateful for things that I want to happen before they've actually happened, and being grateful for them as if they've already happened. This is the most powerful thing that I've ever done in my life, because what it does is it subconsciously makes you start working towards those things. And it, you know, our thoughts attract things, and we are what we think. Like, what we believe is the reality that we create. So if we start creating visions and being grateful for things that haven't happened yet as if they've already happened, we're way more likely to call those things into our life. So even if that's for right now, right now what's going on with the coronavirus, just saying, I am so grateful that I am so unbelievably healthy. I am so grateful that I am wealthy. I am so grateful that money and opportunity continue to flow into my life today. I am so grateful that you could even go deep into, I'm so grateful that this was easy and effortless and we got through this perfectly easily. Like, just like easy, it was easy. It was not difficult. I'm so grateful that my partner and I stayed super connected today. I'm so, you know, all of these little things. In fact, today it was a perfect example of how this works. So today I wrote down, I'm so grateful that the universe sent me a little miracle that kept me super motivated today. That's what I said. Didn't happen, you know, like, I didn't know if that was going to happen. Immediately after I closed my journal and put it down, I opened up my email and I ended up getting 3 of our clients into Forbes. So like, and that article showed up. So it was like, God answered my prayer. So be grateful for things before they happen. And what that does also is our brain doesn't know the difference, like our subconscious mind, it doesn't know the difference between a real memory and a fake one. It doesn't. So if you create memories in your mind as if things have happened that you want to happen, the steps to taking them, or the feeling that we want to create, right, which is one of safety and certainty and happiness and joy and being courageous and excitement and not fearful, like the opposite of fear. If we can start to create that, it's going to automatically happen. And when the action steps start to like fall into place, it's going to be way easier to take those scary action steps, because our subconscious mind is going to be like, oh yeah, that already happened. I already created that feeling in my mind. That's familiar. I got it. So I can do this. Does that make sense?
Totally, Jen. And I think what you've just said is so powerful in terms of our mind doesn't know, our subconscious mind doesn't know the reality, like what's actually happening from what we're creating. Like that is so key. Like when you said that, like how amazing is that we can start feeling and start creating that future, or the 6 months or the 3 months or the 1 month from now, or today, like you did. First thing this morning, you put that out there, and then next minute it's happened. Like that is so key, that really I want everyone to understand is how important this is and how much you do it all the time in your life, right? Regardless of this, that is just what you're always doing. I know oh no, she's gone. What's happened? Let me see if we can get her. Oh, she's back. You're back. Now, 1 second, you're back before anyone else. Yeah, you're back now.
There we go. Sorry. Technical. Everybody is on Zoom right now, so the internet is quite slow. But you know, it's funny. I say a lot of the time, I work really hard to make my life easy. So it's really hard, especially during times like these, to incorporate the stuff that works, because it's way, way easier to turn on the news and to feel scared. It's easier to do that. It's easier to be a victim. It's easier to be like a complainer. It's easier to feel negative thoughts than it is to feel positive thoughts, ironically. So we have to work hard to get ourselves to a place where we are creating a positive environment for us to live in. We really do. And I work really hard every day to do that. I have to. Otherwise, I'll go down the rabbit hole and I won't live a happy existence, and I won't be able to serve my people the way that I do. So that's why it's so important to make those choices every day. I'm choosing to live in a good world. I'm choosing gratitude right now. I'm choosing to do the things that make me feel good.
It's so true, Jen. And like you say, it's super hard to do that at the best of times. And so clients, when I've seen them this week virtually, it was kind of like when they were like, oh, but I'm doing all my practices I've always been doing. And I'm like, you know what? Right now, because of all the fear or the anxiety, just the stress levels in our bodies and the environment that people are picking up on, I was like, that's not enough. You actually need to almost double it to kind of conquer what you're actually just feeling, because day-to-day practices were great. But now we really need to like lean into, and I love how we can, like you kind of say, we can create this muscle of, in the good times, this will now be even easier, because in something that's a crisis or something that's really fearful for us, we've really chosen to implement these habits. Like when it's actually harder right now to think about the end, to think about 4 weeks from now, to think about 6 months, what our lives are going to look like without going into the fear, without going into the terror, without going into the how life is over sort of thing. So if we can do that now, think of the amazing practices that we're setting ourselves up for just for the future.
Think about what an unbelievable gift this time is too. Like you just said, it's perfect time to practice. It's perfect time to put into place really amazing habits that you can keep for the rest of your life. Because you're right, if you can do it now during this time, later when it's easy, it's going to be like cakewalk. And it's just going to be part of you. And Jim Quick, one of my friends, and I don't know if you know Jim, he's an amazing, he's an unbelievable analogy. Like right now we're caterpillars, or like going into the cocoon, right? And then like when this is all over, we'll all emerge as butterflies. So what are we doing in the cocoon to make us emerge as a butterfly? Like, are we really preparing ourselves? Are we spending the time learning and putting into place all of these routines and these practices that make us better people, that make us healthier and happier? What can we do right now with this time that will make us, when we emerge, into a beautiful butterfly, like that much more powerful, that much more beautiful and glowing and vibrant. So we have to choose, we get to choose. It's pretty damn cool every single day to incorporate these tools that we can then use for the rest of our lives.
I 100% agree with you, Jen. Like it is such a gift and a blessing at the same time. But so during the day when fear creeps up, like when we acknowledge it, when we tell fear who's boss, like you said at the beginning, and we really say, hey, fear, you're going to sit over there, like I'm the driver. But as that creeps up for us, it's for some of us many times a day, especially if we're suffering from anxiety and depression anyway, really heightened. What sort of tools, other than saying, like we want to, in the moment, when it creeps up for you, what do you do? Is there anything specifically that you do? Like, I know we all know about breathing techniques. We all know that. But sometimes in that moment we forget it. Or sometimes there's another tool that we kind of need or something else.
I have two. These are my two favorites. So if one doesn't work, you get to use another one.
Okay, good.
My first one is I immediately, the second that I feel myself going down the rabbit hole of fear, the second that I feel myself, I count backwards from 5. I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when I get to 1, the rule is that I have to immerse myself in a thought or a vision of a time when I was unbelievably grateful, excited, and happy. So if there's a moment in your life that we all have those timestamp moments, right? Like those moments where it's so vivid, where it was like the most beautiful moment of your life. Like if you have children, maybe the moment you gave birth to your child, or the moment you got married, or the moment that you spoke on stage for the first time and got a standing ovation or something like that, right? Those moments. You got to get one of those moments and have that always, like, that's your moment. That's your thought. That's timestamp.
On autopilot. So you just hold on to that one.
It's ready.
Okay, yeah.
It's ready. So the second that I start going down the rabbit hole, I go, shit, stop. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I go there. And I go there. And I be there. And it will be impossible to feel the fear and that feeling of immense gratitude at the same time. The immense gratitude and that feeling of being in that space will take you out of that fear every time, even if it's just for a second. And if it can get you out of it just for a second, that's a second that you can get back in your life where you can go, okay, I'm going to go do something to distract myself. I'm going to go put on some music. Music always gets me out of it. Put on a song that just really gets me like feeling like I want to dance, and that'll lift you right out of it. I'm going to go stretch. I'm going to go do some exercise. That will always, no matter what, take you out of fear, because it's impossible to think of something you're scared of and do 50 push-ups. It's impossible. You're focused on the 50 push-ups and how much they hurt. Okay, so that's my first one. And then my second one is to just take a breath and just say, I am okay right now. Because really what fear is it's worrying about something that might happen in the future that hasn't happened yet. That's what fear is. That's pretty much the definition of fear. So if we could just remind ourselves that the only thing that really exists is this moment in time, right now, this moment. And I am okay right now. You can just say, right now, I am okay. It's just the most comforting feeling ever, because no matter what, you always are okay right now, unless a tiger's fucking chasing you. Excuse my language. Right now, in this moment, you are okay right now.
You're right. And that's exactly it. And when I was talking to clients over the past week, as we knew this was coming, like you say, Jen, in clinic, it was when they started thinking, what if I can't make my mortgage repayments? What if I lose my job? What if my company closes down? What if I don't have enough to eat? It was all the what ifs. So you're 100% correct. In the moment, we were in the office together or on Skype together, and we were both actually okay in the moment right now. And we were actually enjoying the conversation, enjoying each other's, my help or whatever it was. But in that moment, we were both okay. And it's only all the what ifs. You're 100% correct that when those crept up, that's when fear really kicked in. And it was like, but what if, what if, what if, what if? But equally, like you say, in terms of when we're future planning and kind of thinking about gratitude for the future, what if none of that turned up? What if something totally different turned out? So you're right, in those moments where we're what ifing for the future of all the bad things, what if we just changed the story if we even wanted to think about the future, like you say, and we what if all the things that we really want to come in?
Or you can say, how much better can it get? Because sometimes one thing that we do is when it gets a little bit better or it gets good, we're like, all right, when's the shoe gonna drop? How, when's it gonna get bad again? That's where our minds immediately go. What if we automatically just went, how much better could it get? It could get better. How much better? Okay, well, it could get this much better because I could think of a way to make more money online now. I could think of a way to connect more with people and share a new story that I've never, I could think of new ideas. I could write my book now. I could learn to play guitar now. I could learn a new skill now. How much better could it get? I could actually pursue my real dream now. Think about how much better it could get instead of what if this happens? How much better? What else could happen that's good? Why is this great? Why am I grateful for this moment?
Which is amazing. Like, how much better, like such a different way of looking at it, which then fills you with hope and purpose and just an opportunity. You can see this as an opportunity. It's limiting in one way, but it can also be the most amazing opportunity at the same time. And Jen, just so we don't keep you from your day, one more thing. What if you've actually experienced devastating loss in this moment? Like, you will see it in New York, especially, and we're seeing it in New Zealand. And I totally get that within everything. Like, I, with my own health crisis, like when I had nothing, I get not having anything in a different way, like in terms of my health, and trying to stay grateful in that. So how do you stay true to the situation if it is really bad for you at the moment? And for some New Zealanders, it is really bad right now, and same with some people in America and New York. How, when your reality does feel like you've lost everything, which not as necessarily always true, like you say, you can still be grateful for your family or your children or whatever. But in those moments, what is a little, because that is a reality for some people, what is the thing that we could be doing or they could be doing at that time?
Yeah. So that is such a great point because, yes, devastating things happen. They do. And the number one most important thing, I think, when things like that happen is to grieve and allow yourself to be sad. So, give yourself a container and allow yourself to feel. Don't just push the feeling down and say, oh, Jen said I have to be positive and grateful, so I got to be grateful. No, allow yourself to feel those feelings. Feel the sadness, because if you keep it pent up and you keep pushing it down, it's just going to manifest inside of you and come out in all kinds of crazy, scary ways. So feel them. Feel the feeling. Say, all right, right now I'm going to allow myself to just be sad. Give yourself a day, give yourself an hour, give yourself 30 minutes. Say, this is my time to feel, and give yourself a good cry, feel it. But then make the choice to remember, this is a really powerful thing that's always been coming to me, is that in order to have a breakthrough, things need to break. In order to have a breakthrough, things need to break. So think back to any other times in your life where you felt devastated and sad and like you've lost everything and like nothing is going right and like, oh my God, my world's coming to an end. Because I have several times like that in my life where that's happened. But now, you too, Shelly, right? Now, when I look back at those times, I think that was the best thing that ever happened to me. So if you can remember during this time, while you're feeling the feelings, you're feeling them, they suck, they're shitty, this is horrible. But remember, one day I will look back and the dots will connect and I will be grateful for this moment, because this moment will make me stronger. This moment will lead to good. Because it always does. It always does. If I know anything for certain, it's every single time something horrible has happened to me, I can look back now and say that sucked in the moment, but it was the best thing that ever happened because it brought me to exactly where I am.
It's 100% true. Like, I 100%. And we got all the stories out of the GFC, when people lost jobs overnight and things went, and then they turn around and they're like, but it opened up my new company, or it started me in an even better career. I got a bigger pay rise, or like that was the greatest thing ever. And like for me with my health crash, like 2 years lying in bed, but that was the greatest thing ever when I came out of it. And I had to be broken to learn all my habits because I was a bit of a slow learner in terms of making changes. So Jen, you're 100% right. And I really love the fact that you're also saying and giving us permission to feel those feelings. We don't need to be Debbie Downer for the next 4 weeks, like really like wallowing in it. But we do have that choice to acknowledge it, to feel it, that is the reality for some of us. But then we also get to change that and then see, like you say, with the forward plan, thinking about the vision, being grateful. what is the life that we really want? So maybe that was one life, and now what do we want now in the future? And just really get to tell a different story and then tell our subconscious mind that, so we start living it out. So I just love the way you've connected all of these things, but you've also allowed us to feel those feelings as well, rather than just being told, like we can often be told in the self-help world, just be positive, it's all going to be great, we're so happy, just, and it's like, that's not the truth for some of us right now in that moment. So acknowledge that, Jen. That's what I love about you so much, and why I really connected with you, is you are so real, you are so honest. It's not just like, this is all going to be great, but here's some practical tools, because we can, like you say, change the situation, change our minds, create the world, it's like working, the thing that I've learned with mindset and through working with you and like listening and to all these podcasts and stuff, our minds are a muscle. If we don't work them, they get flabby, tired, and just run away, right? Like they just, and right now that flabby tiredness actually just means you hook into the media and you just keep hearing the fear. Fear sells, fear is on repeat, fear is it. It's like just there. And so we now need to really work this mindset muscle with some of the simple tools that you've given us, and just implement them and just start doing them, share them, connect with other people doing them, and really get on board and support each other.
Yeah. So important. Connection is so important, more important than ever before now. So if you are feeling scared, you're feeling all the feelings that, we're talking about right now, call a friend, FaceTime a friend, put on a song together and dance it out over Zoom. Tell someone you're grateful for them. Another great way to feel amazing immediately is to do something for somebody else. Serve somebody else. Do something nice for someone. That'll make you feel great. That'll take you out of fear any moment. No matter what. Gratitude, doing something for somebody else, exercising, moving your body, putting on an amazing song. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amazing moment. Go to the amazing moment. Right? Distracting yourself. And then remembering that no matter what, every time you've ever had an issue in your life where you felt like all hell was breaking loose and it was the worst thing that's ever happened, when you connect the dots looking backwards, it all makes sense. So if you can remember that, and that's what I hold on to every single day. I'm like, this is all happening for a very important reason, and I don't know the reason right now. But one day, I know for a fact, I will look back and I will say, thank God that happened. That was amazing. That was a gift. So it's just all about getting through these days and making the choice, the conscious choice, the decision to react to these things from a place of gratitude. Right? At a place of acceptance, a place of surrender. I don't got any control, but what I do have control over is the world that I decide to live in right now, and creating that with our choices. That's it.
Jen, that's so beautiful, because you don't need to be outside. You don't need to be traveling the world to create your own reality, to create your own living room. So thank you, Jen. You've given us so many tips, so many little key things that we can be putting into our days. So I'm so grateful, because I feel like you've set us up for kind of 31 days or 30 days or whatever it's going to be of lockdown. You have given us the structured plan of how we can create our reality during this time, how we can create our mindset, how we can change the whole story around this 4-week period for us in New Zealand. You have just empowered us and given us the biggest gifts ever. So I am so incredibly grateful, Jen, for you taking time out of your day to be with us here in New Zealand and really just give us such an amazing message and give us so much hope, but not just hope, tools that we can implement now. So I'm super, super grateful. So thank you so much, Jen, for all your wisdom.
Thank you, Shelly. I love talking to you. And if anybody that's following Shelly ever wants to reach out, I'm around. You can just DM me on Facebook. I'm here for you. If you're Shelly's community, you're my community. And thank you.
You are seriously so generous, so generous.
All right. Well, I love you, girl. And be safe, be healthy, and be happy.